Hello, legions of music lovers, and welcome to the Cats Caravan. Tomorrow's hits today is our motto. We've got sessions tonight from LFO and Robert Lloyd and the new Four Seasons. Amongst the records, well, two new records from what was once East Germany. Jay Mascis sings Bowie, slightly flat at times, but he does sing him. My Bloody Valentine, two new songs and maybe a competition, if I can think of one in time, and tracks from the LP of the week, Boss Hog. And then other records from the fall, almost inevitably. Masters of the Obvious, Throwing Muses, Flower Gun, Rhythm Doctor, Solomon Grundy, Admiral Tibet, Tinklers, Bass Culture, Ride, Rats of Unusual Size, and to start, Prince Far Eye.
Demo got rules mean war. Satyagwa, no more war. Satyagwa mean peace. No more demo got rules. Satyagwa, peace in African language. So you're the one who come here to mash up this place, eh? War is over, not the dread come over. Oh, good and how pleasant it is for Remoites, Jungleites, Painlanites, Lizard Townites to dwell together. War is over, not the dread come over. I man know after a storm there's must be a calm. Why remember the Bible write himself, you know, is a man write the Bible, a lie. That means someone wrong but not the Bible. War is over, not the dread come over. Demographics mean war. Satyagwa mean peace in African language. Senior, so you're the one who come here to mash up this place, eh? Son, don't take your guns to town, cause we are no more Fludel clown in town. Why you have to be smart like an Anansi man, you know? Satyagwa appease. Demogab loses war, and now the war is over. Oh, good and how pleasant it is for Rima man can go to jungle, and jungle man can go to Rima. Gat man can do the same thing too, and every man have an equal rights on this land to live. No more war. War is over. Demogab rules is war. Satyagwa mean peace. Senior, I'm sorry for you if you love war. Demogab rules is war. Satyagwa is peace. So we have the notion of them on the radar. Love, love, love. Some guys say I and check say I dealt of war. But through them don't know one thing, say strictly peace radio. No more war. When you see champion, you don't kill him, you raise them. Demogab Rose is war. We don't want no more of that. Satyagwa mean peace. And that we want, Tanya. Love in the vineyard. Love. Love my brethren, love. I man go a jungle, Remo anyway, you know, love. What a nice idea, sir. Nice bad.
Well, there's a barrel load of ironies for you. Prince Far I from, quite some time ago. Not exactly sure when it was, to be perfectly honest with you, because my copy's just a white label and hasn't got a date on it. But no more war. This is Heavenly from their forthcoming LP, Heavenly vs. Satan, on Sarah Records. Cool Guitar Boy. You might imagine that was called the fairly silly mix of the Bee, but in fact it's the Gargle mix, Scientist, of course, on Kickin' Records, and before that, Heavenly from the LP Heavenly versus Satan, and Cool Guitar Boy. And this has been one of those days when, rather recklessly, I've gone out and briefly experienced pleasure, because it's our William's 15th birthday, and we went for the weekend, or part of it anyway, to this sort of holiday village. I'm not quite sure how you describe it, really, but holiday village will do for the time being, just north of Bury St Edmunds, and lots of activities, you know, and I'm not much of a one for activities, but they do have this extraordinary kind of swimming area, which is got a very, very high dome. I'm not quite sure how high, about 80 feet, I'd have thought, and lots of slides and things like that in it. And I'm not by and large the kind of person who enjoys that a great deal, and yet on this particular occasion, and I've been there before actually, it is stupendous. And they have this thing called the Rapids, where you just go right up into the top of it, into this kind of warm pool, and then you swim out through the side of the building, and obviously it's a lot colder, and then you go down this slide, and it goes back into the building, and faster and faster and faster, and it is stupendous stuff. And I kept going round and round and round and round on that, and feel fairly battered actually as a consequence of this. As somebody who was with us pointed out, it's a bit like being in a tumble dryer, but fine stuff for all of that. And I expect they're all listening avidly to the programme up in the holiday village even now. Actually, I bet they're not. This is Cold and Wet from Ween, and I almost went to see Ween this evening, but I think I'd have probably missed the start of the programme if I had done, which is a pity. I'd like to see them. This is from the double LP God, Satan, the Oneness, Cold and Wet, as I say.
Honey, hot and busy. You better get busy and make me some soup. Oh, before I get sick. I'm cold and wet. Can't you hear what I'm saying to you? Cold and wet is the message I'm conveying to you. How many times do I have to tell you that I'm cold and wet? Hot and dizzy, you got me a dizzy, honey. Hot and dizzy, you better get busy and make me some soup. Oh, before I get sick.
That's Ween, and I'm not sure if they're doing any other gigs, but I would like to see them. That's from the double LP God, Satan, the Oneness, and it was called Cold and Wet. And the first coming up from Robert Lloyd and the new Four Seasons. And if you're reasonably new to the programmes and therefore unfamiliar with the work of Robert Lloyd, he used to be, of course, in the Prefects and then the Nightingales, and now Robert Lloyd and the new Four Seasons. So a seasoned campaigner, I think it's fair to say. No hideous pun intended. And this session produced by Mike Robinson, known to his millions of fans as Robbo. This is Here Comes Mimi.
A wish has just been realized. It eats its food and never cries. Hits the town and a weak heart dies. She's got a daddy's side and a mama's eyes. Big and dreamy, that's how maybe your fantasy come true. She has it all and nothing less. The girls don't want to be her friend. The boys who can't want life to end on. and roll angel delight. She can knock all comers out of sight. She's got a mama's guts and a daddy's right. It's some clean weed, bring on me, her fantasy come true. She has it all and nothing less. The boys turn red and go all weak. The girls turn green when they hear her speak. Here comes Mimi, she's my baby girl. Here comes Mimi, she's my baby girl. Her mother gave the world a clue, a beauty too good to be true. A mind so smart was overdue. They gave the prize, then off it flew. Oh, BBGB, there was Mimi, a fantasy come true. She has it all and nothing less. She's everything you want to be. The crowds go weep when she walks the street singing. Here comes Mimi, here comes Mimi, here comes Mimi, she's my baby. Here comes Mimi, she's my girl. Here comes Mimi, she's my baby girl.
And that's a song of Robert's own devising, at least devised with Peter Birchmore, guitars and vocals. Robert Lloyd and the new Four Seasons in session, and that's Here Comes Mimi. And rather prettily, the first from LFO is Rob's Nightmare. Programming or what? LFO in, a bit loud, sorry, LFO in session, and that's called Rob's Nightmare. And every once in a while in these programmes, I like to include something that's, sort of, well, popular. So here's something that's popular-ish.
Because when she came down, she had dust on her hands from the sky. She said, I touched the ground. She felt so high, the dust made her fly. She could fly like a bird, but when she said please, raise the roof higher, nobody heard. They never noticed the word. The light bulb burned. Her fingers will learn. Because when she came down, she had dust on her hands on the sky. She said, I touched the ground. Her fingers will learn. The light bulbs burn.
I would have thought we were about to use something new from Rye. That's from the LP Nowhere, of course, Polar Bear. And let's have a look and see what's on Radio 1 tomorrow. Well, at 5 o'clock, of course, Jenny Costello with the Sunday Early Show. 7 o'clock, Bruno and Liz. 9:30, Dave Lee Travis, including Give Us a Break and the Think Link, plus Dave's featured group, Wilson Pickett. I've never really thought of Wilson Pickett as a group, but perhaps he's been putting on a lot of weight recently. Then 12:30, Pick of the Pops, Alan Freeman with the top 20 charts of the last 3 decades. 2:30, Going Live with Philip Schofield, who's joined by live guest Paul Young, rather. Not Phil Young, he couldn't make it, alas. And he also finds out what Rick Astley's been up to for the last couple of years, which I'm sure has been troubling you as it's been troubling me. Then at 4:30, the complete UK Top 40 with Mark Goodyear, a new, longer show to bring you the whole of the official Top 40. 7 o'clock, Anne Nightingale with more requests from the mailbag. 9 o'clock, Andy Kershaw with the excellent Dick Gaughan in session. And then at 11 o'clock, it's little old me again, with sessions from Mass and the Stereo MCs. A veritable Catherine wheel of music. And Lorks and Mussey, Catherine Wheel is the name on the label on the next record.
My neck muscles relax and become limp and flexed.
Hello. motema eba botoli ayoki nakoka te kolekisa tango boyelo kweponi motema nyonso pasi ya olukaki nga na matata papa nga naboyaki na ngai ye okomi bilobela obi olukaki nga na matata papa nga naboyaki na ngai ye okomi bilobela obi ai olela mamango oh mamango oh mamango ai olela mamango oh mamango oh mamango bolingo tokezalaka boyengo eloko elingi motema pasi mama ebapona nini osalinga boyengo nalongoli motema na ngai yengo oyo susi lolotala milongo ya bana otikelinga mama okoloka pani epiano mabiesi Eva, mama.
of the works itself. Here comes Stinger Man and Frankie Paul.
Three in a row on the nation's super sound sensation. That's Frankie Paul and Stinger Man. Actually, Andy Kershaw phoned up to say, I think he put the wrong side of this record on, but it was deliberate. It says, beautiful version right here in front of me. Frankie Paul and Stinger Man on Exterminator. And then before that, it was Keva, Niboma and Midilu. And that's from an LP called Stop Fee. No, Feu Rouge, I mean Red Fire, I suppose. And before that it was Catherine Wheel on Wild Club Records of Norwich and Upside Down. Now, where are we? Oh yeah, this next is for Ian the Tank Engine, who's gone walkabout again. Rats of unusual size, and this is called Can't Call You.
Your gross balance is $0.00. Your available balance is $0.00.
It's after 12. I scratch my head. Don't think I'll shower. Get out of bed. I just get high and watch the tube. It's a beautiful life when you love what you do. roaches. I think I'll squash 'em. I just get high and watch the tube, and a man comes and tells me that I can't call you. You don't have to be a disgusting slob. You could have training and a paying job. Finish the course and keep the tools. But like I said, I can't call you now. You don't have to be a disgusting slob. You could have training and a paying job. Finish the course and keep the tools. But like I said, I can't call you.
You have to make the first call. Come on, get on with it. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's Rats of Unusual Size, and Andy Kershaw actually phoned up to say that he was looking forward to hearing Rats of Unusual Size because he thought it was such a great name for a band. And that's on Vital Music, and it's one of those, it's part of their series of records of the month, 7-inch singles of the month. Can't Call You is the title of it. And this is going to be Bass Culture in just a moment, and this is a track from, well, it's one of 3 versions of The Facts of Life.
The facts of life. Would you like to be modified?
Facts of Life, that is, and it's by Bass Culture on Industrial Records. And as I say, that was one of 3 mixes available on a 12-inch. In fact, it was the Bleeper mix. Another one from Robert Lloyd and the new Four Seasons in session. Incidentally, tomorrow's sessions come from Desperately Looking for a Piece of Paper. They come from... I'll tell you who they come from after we've heard this from Robert and the gang. Go forth and multiply.
I know there are no prizes for changing. Doubt, I've made a meal of it, and hate was always mine for the taking. An eggshell past I've shone with shame. God in his humor, a bullet scratched revealed my name. Loaded for the future, face up. The backbone and brain don't lace up. Suspicion of pain won't serve you right. The wound turns ill, rapes the heart and blinds the will. Wish you were in love with my nervous tissue. Heaven preserve us, ideals will eat as vultures die. Let's go forth and multiply. Such crap fell from 100 lips. In spite, you know a history will start to come. Boy, memories override. You're just a bit too eager for martyrdom. A worthless man is one who weeps. Get up and run in. Resist he can and scars he keeps. And takes the gun in face up. The backbone and brain don't lace up. Suspicion of pain won't serve you right. The wind turns ill, rapes the heart and blinds the will. Wish you were in love with my nervous tissue. Heaven preserve us, ideals will eat as vultures die. Let's go forth and multiply. Face up, the backbone and brain don't lace up. Suspicion of pain won't serve you right. The wind turns ill, rapes the heart and blinds the will. Wish you were in love with my nervous tissue. Heaven preserve us, ideals will eat as vultures die. Let's go forth and multiply. Go forth and multiply.
I've already done my share of that, I think, for the time being, anyway. Robert Lloyd and the new Four Seasons, Go Forth and Multiply, and 2 more from them, of course, between now and 2 o'clock in the morning. It's currently 6.5 minutes till midnight. Pretty riveting stuff. These are the Tinklers, not a new record, alas. It'd be nice if there was a new one, but track 1, side 1 from the old record.
Turn the screw on the crank, turn the screw on the crank, turn the screw on the crank, turn the screw on the crank. Mary's trying to get me to paint the house. Turn the screw on the crank. Mary's trying to get me to paint the house. The neighbor's dog keeps me up all night. Turn the screw on the crank. Mary's trying to get me to paint the house. The neighbor's neighbor's dog keeps me up all night. It's getting hard to pay the bills. Turn the screw on the crank. Mary's trying to get me to paint the house. The neighbor's dog keeps me up all night. It's getting hard to pay the bills. Mary's always got a headache. Turn the screw on the crank. Mary's trying to get me to paint the house. The neighbor's dog keeps me up all night. It's getting hard to pay the bills. Mary's always got a headache. There's something strange about those kids. Turn the screw on the crank. Mary's trying to get me to paint the house. The neighbor's dog keeps me up all night. It's getting hard to pay the bills. Mary's always got a headache. There's something strange about those kids. Mary and I are not so close. Turn the screw on the crank. Mary's trying to get me to paint the house. The neighbor's dog keeps me up all night. It's getting hard to pay the bills. Mary's always got a headache. There's something strange about those kids. Mary and I are not so close. There's threatening layoffs at the plant. Turn the screw on the crank. 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 Turn the screw on the crank.
Should have been in the festive 50, Pilgrims. Later. Those are the Tinklers from the Shimmy Disc LP Casserole, and that was Turn the Screw on the Crank. And after the Tinklers, Tinkle, Tinkle, Tinkle. And I'll tell you how this came about because, now that I'm working at the weekends, I have a bit of time sometimes in the afternoon to sit down and watch old black and white films on TV. I wish it was a kind of black and white channel. If I was an entrepreneur, I would start one and lose an immense amount of money in so doing. But just anything, old newsreels, anything that's in black and white is just fine with me. So there's a whole series of films featuring Jessie Matthews, who eventually turned into Mrs. Dale on the BBC many years ago. You'll probably not remember that. But anyway, and of course, these films were made, I suppose, back in the 1930s, and I'd never seen any of them before, and she was really rather wonderful. And there's one song that I heard in one of these films which really kind of stuck in my mind, and I could actually sing it to myself in a rather unpleasant way, and didn't know what it was called, and eventually, so desperate was I that I went out and bought a compact disc called Dancing on the Ceiling, and went all the way through it, trying to identify the track that I liked, or the song that I liked, and I got as far as track 15 before I discovered what it was. In fact, it's the last sort of 30 seconds or 45 seconds of track 15. The first part of it is Tinkle, 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 but this will stick in your head too, I suspect, when you hear it. The bit that I like is, well, I like the whole thing really, but the bit that I like best is called Over My Shoulder.
Tinkle, 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 what if the raindrops sprinkle? Tie a little bell to your dancing shoes and the sun will shine. Tinkle, 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 what if the stars don't twinkle? Tie a little bell to your dancing shoes and the stars will shine. When you moan and groan, then trouble hangs around. He runs miles and miles from every happy sound. Tinkle, 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 what if the raindrops sprinkle? Tie a little bell to your dancing shoes and the sun will shine. When you moan and groan, then trouble hangs around. He runs miles and miles from every happy sound. Tinkle, 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 what if the raindrops sprinkle? Tie a little bell to your dancing shoes and the sun will shine. I've been a prisoner, locked in a jail. Love held the only key. Love heard me crying, locked in a jail, came to the help of me. Oh, what a glorious feeling to be free, silly free. For over my shoulder goes one care, and over my shoulder goes two cares. Why should I cry? It flew above. I'm free at last, and I'm in love. Over my shoulder goes 3 cares, and over my shoulder goes 4 cares. Bye-bye to trouble, it's gone beyond recall, for over my shoulder goes it all. And over my shoulder goes 3 cares, and over my shoulder goes 4 cares. Bye-bye to trouble, it's gone beyond recall, for over my shoulder goes it all.
And you know that, but you couldn't spot the joint. Go on, admit it. That's Carnage on Necrosis Records from the LP Dark Recollections and Gentle Exhuming. And what a pretty concept that is indeed. And before that it was Jesse Matthews and whatever it was called. I've lost the piece. Oh, there we go. Tinkle, Tinkle, Tinkle and Over My Shoulder. And that comes from a compact disc called Dancing on the Ceiling. Where are we now? Oh, yes, LFO.
Take control. 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 Take control.
Blimey. LFO in session, and that's called Take Control. And for the last 7 1/4 minutes, it's been Catherine Crabtree's birthday. I know this because I answered one of the calls on the fluff line. Sometimes when you do that, it's like staring into the pit. But Catherine Crabtree's mate wanted me to play something by Vanilla Ice, or Van, as he's known to me. We're great mates. But unfortunately, I don't have any of his stuff with me. But I do happen to know, because we're great mates, that he's very keen on the work of the band Boss Hog. So 3 of their tracks are coming up in just a moment from the new compact disc, as it is, but I'm sure it's available on vinyl as well, which is called Cold Hands, and is our record of the week. We don't usually have a record of the week, actually. In fact, I think this is only the second one I've ever had, but it's the record of the week anyway. Take it or not, whatever it is I'm trying to say. And 3 tracks coming up, and also these are for Catherine. No, they're not. I've said that already. They're for Heather Cole in something called Guelph, Ontario. Guelph being spelled Guelph. Very strange name for a place. Anyway, Heather Cole, 3 tracks from Boss Hog. I think you're going to like these. The first of them is called Gerard. It's another ideologically unsound sleeve on this one, incidentally. Boss Hog, and 3 tracks from the new LP, which is called Cold Hands. And there were variously Gerard, Bugpurr, and Eddie, and I hope that they've weaned Catherine Crabtree off Vanilla Ice, and that she's now going to be a great fan of Boss Hog for the rest of her life. Remember the old folks saying Vanilla Ice is nice, but Boss Hog do the dog. It doesn't mean anything, but lots of old folks sayings don't. This is The Wake. second record from Sarah Records in this programme. They'll be dancing in the streets of Bristol tonight. That's The Wake from the LP Make It Loud, and that was called English Rain. You'll probably recognise the inspiration behind this. I'll tell you something. This record's a bit of a puzzle, and no mistake. Because I can't even tell you who the artist is, really. I'm not absolutely certain. There's a sticker on the sleeve. It's a white label. There's a sticker on the sleeve which says Perception Records and that's that's all it says. But then it says Laura Laura and Marine Boy. 3 tracks. produced by Congress, written by Simon Power. And then there's a nice note from Simon on Mole's Club compliment slip from Bath, and it says, I hope you like these 2 new 12 inches that I produced with the help of my best mates Paul and Andy of Bristol Bassline. The Perception EP features, which is the one I just played you, features 3 tracks. Side 1, the Twin Peaks influenced Small Town Killer and Laura Laura. Side 2, the Ambient Star, and so it goes on. But then it's nothing about Marine Boy. But anyway, it's all very, very confusing and jolly exciting and state-of-the-art and so forth. And I'm sure that you know how to find out more about it. I shall try. I've got a phone number, actually, but it's probably a bit late to phone it up. But I'll try and discover more about it before I play you one of the other tracks. This is Robert Lloyd and the new 4 Seasons, of course, in session. And this is for Paul, Phil and Claire in Burton-on-Trent. Kiss Me Stupid.
But his strategies defect
Robert Lloyd and the Boys and Girls of the Village. Actually, a great name for a band. No, it's not a great name for a band. Don't call your band that at all. Robert Lloyd and the new Four Seasons, and that's called Kiss Me Stupid. And this next is for the Park Road Posse in Gloucester, and it's... Well, it says it's Dinosaur Jr., really. It's just Jay Mascis playing all of the instruments and doing all of the singing, and here doing a David Bowie song. And as I said at the start of the programme, occasionally going flat. At least I think it's flat, one of those things. And but it's still a great joy, of course.
I'm closer to the golden dawn. I can't believe the wagon's gone. It's history. I'm living in a carless realm where others seem to dig it just too much reality. I'm frightened by the total goal. I'm drawing to the ragged hole, and I ain't got the wagon anymore. No, I ain't got the wagon anymore. I'm the twisted name on Uma's eyes. I'm living proof of Cindy's lies. It's destiny. I'm drawn between the light and dark, where others see their targets. I can't see anything. Or should I leave the engine on to listen to that mountain song? Sinking in the quicksand of my thoughts, and I ain't got the wagon anymore. Don't believe in yourself, don't deceive with belief. Knowledge comes with desperately. Not too stable, hanging by a string. Can't face the thoughts no wheels will bring. I gotta go. Sinking in the quicksand of my thoughts, and I ain't got the power anymore. Don't believe in yourself, don't deceive with belief. Knowledge comes with desperately. Don't believe in yourself, don't deceive with belief. Knowledge comes with desperately. Don't believe in yourself, don't deceive with belief. Knowledge comes with desperately.
Well, I sing that, and nobody wants to sleep with me. Of course, I suppose the possibility exists that they don't want to sleep with Jay Mascis either, but I bet they do. That's Dinosaur Jr. And, well, to get what it says on the sleeve of the record is Quicksand, and then in brackets, Wagon Reprise, in memory of the car totaled as this Bowie demo played. And of course that's on the 12-inch of The Wagon, which is longer than the Sub Pop version and different, and doubtless has been played a great deal on 1FM, but I'll play it to you again in tomorrow night's programme if I remember. Also on the EP Pebbles and Weeds, and something called The Little Baby, which is actually rather good. And one of the many compensations for one of the many delights that you have with a job like this is that you get sent all kinds of curious publications. And here's a magazine called Wig Out, which is sent to me by the band Girl Trouble. I'm tempted to say it's rather better than their more recent record, but that would be unkind, I think. And Wig Out, as I say, published by Girl Trouble, comes from Tacoma, Washington. I'll give you an address, actually, when I've finished telling you about it, in case you're interested. And they obviously, in the last issue, which I didn't get, which is rather frustrating, printed a list of the great records of all time. And Jim Kay from Saginaw, Michigan, wrote to them and said, I was really surprised to see a list of the greatest records of all time, besides the Evil Knievel LP. Now, come on, did you know that such a thing existed? And why haven't I got one? A couple of LPs were conspicuous in their absence, though. My favourite album of all time, says Jim Kay, wasn't listed. Ringo by Lorne Greene, Old Park Cartwright himself. Not only does he do his big hit Ringo, but he also does the Bonanza theme, complete with bitchin' lyrics, and also possibly the greatest song of all time, Sand, featuring the classic line, my burro died 2 days ago, my water's gone, my step is slow. Also missing from your list is Denny at the Organ by Denny McLean. You may remember Denny as the semi-grade pitcher from the Detroit Tigers. Denny says on the back of the record that he'd like to be remembered as a great organ player, and after hearing his unrecognisable version of Hurdy-Gurdy Man, you'll understand why he turned to smuggling coke and loan sharking after he quit baseball. Well, that sounds jolly interesting. A couple of records I think we should try to add to the collection. And then on the next page, there's a letter from Mike Applestein from Spotswood, New Jersey. And in the course of his letter, he says, how the hell could you list Leonard Nimoy and not William Shatner? Now, come on, who can forget the captain's... I think he must have made this up, although there will be people, obviously, who know more about this, probably listening to the programme. So, Mike continues, who can forget the captain's stirring interpretative rendition of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds? That is something which I should very much like to hear, much less his dramatic reading of Elton John's Rocket Man. I mean, he never released poetry tomes like his former comrade Leonard Nimoy, but this omission is an oversight that casts a pallid shadow over the whole feature. I hope you'll clarify this in a future issue, says Mike. Well, so do I. And then the last thing in this Wig Out that I shall draw to your attention, in as far as it's possible to draw a picture to your attention on the radio. It doesn't come across quite as well as it might do, but there's a strange device in here which I wish I'd got. It's the thing called a furry face. Holds and hides up to 60/45s, it says, $5.79. Furry face makes a great practical toy and conversation piece. Can you imagine the kind of conversation you'd have with people who want to talk about it? Well, of course I do. Totes and protects 45 RPM records, twist handle and head removes to reveal 45 RPM record holding post. Nylon non-shedding hair can be combed, wiped clean with damp cloth, gift boxed, shipping weight £2. As I say, I think they probably discontinued that particular line, but what a little beauty it would be to have. And that's Wig Out magazine, and it's Post Office Box 44633, Tacoma, Washington, 98444. That's the zip code, as I think they're called. Post Office Box 44633, Tacoma, Washington, 98444. And if you write to them, don't say that I thought the magazine was better than the record, because otherwise they'll probably hate you and want to come over here and poke your eyes out. Admiral Tibet.
Jah guide and protect his children in every step. Watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my brother, then you won't make it. Watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my sister, then you won't make it. These are the words of prophecy. In my vision, this message was given to me. It's not who you against, it's who against you. You better believe what I'm saying is true. Most of these traps are invisible, so people think it is impossible. But who can hear, say they must have to feel. If you can't believe what I'm saying is real, watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my brother, then you won't make it. Lord, watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my sister, you will never make it. They are coming in all kind of form, and there will be no alarm. Coming with the mark of the devil, doing all manner manner of evil. In this time you got to be strong, yeah. If you want to live long, don't try to be weak, or else you must get defeat. Hey, watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my brother, then you won't make it. Watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my sister, you will never make it. Oh, yeah. Just guide and protect His children in every step. Lord, just guide and protect His children in every step. Yeah, watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my brother, then you won't make it. Watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my sister, you will never make it. They are coming in all kind of form, and there will be no alarm. Coming with the mark of the devil, doing all manner of evil. In this time you got to be strong, yeah. If you want to live long, don't try to be weak, or else you must get defeat. So watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my brother, then you won't make it. Watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my sisters, then you won't make it. Watch your step, because a trap has set. And if you fall in it, my brothers, then you won't make it. Watch your step, because a trap has a set. And if you fall in it.
That's Admiral Tibet, and on Unfailing Records, Watch Your Step. Solomon Grundy, the band, that's Van Connor's band. Van Connor out of Screaming Trees. Out There was the title of the track. And it's from an LP. Well, it's one of those things which rather frustrates the One Fun computer, because the LP seems to have two titles. In that, one side is called Stone Soup and the other one is called Other Stories. It's on New Alliance Records and an import from America. And at the start of the programme, I promised you some new tunes by My Bloody Valentine. And once again, I'm ashamed to say I'm not quite sure whether these have been played on the radio much before, but it doesn't matter whether they have or haven't, really. Two tracks, and I mean, I could play you them separately, but as they join up on the record, it seems rather fatuous to do that, so I can burst in with a lot of personality stuff in the middle. Hi there, it's me! So I won't do that. I'll play you To Hear Knows When and Swallow without interruption. This is on Creation, of course. played that to somebody during the week, and they assumed that there must be something wrong with my pressing of it because of the sort of distortion and general rumness of it all. But it's all supposed to be like that, and very good too. My Bloody Valentine, To Hear Knows When, which sounds like some kind of crossword clue, and then Swallow. And I'll play you the other side of the 12-inch in tomorrow night's programme, along with the sessions from whoever I said the sessions were from before, Stereo MCs and Mass. There you are. Now, this is the time of night, of course, and the day of the week when you get a lot of phone calls from people who are at wild, well, they can't be that wild parties, otherwise they'd not be listening to the radio, but, I mean, you know, at kind of functions of one sort or another, and they all want you to read out a list of names of people who are, you know, silly names, Stump and Bonk and, you know, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so I've been asked, though, most specifically to mention Megs Jones in Kent, and this was at the behest of Rachel Phillips, Joe Scott, Jeff Stobbs, and Tessa Salmon, and that's it, really. I've done what they asked me to do. This is LFO, Lost World. We have, alas, no word on LFO's present activities. They're probably at this exact moment at a rave somewhere, but there they are in session, and that's called Lost World. And people have been using the fax while my back has been turned. I'd forgotten to go out and check and see if anything had come through in it. And here's something from Mark from Ipswich, I take it. And it's a kind of COD, Ministry of Defence thing, notification of compulsory enlistment. And there's almost certainly the only Radio 1 DJ with any military experience. I've been expecting this sort of thing for quite some time. And but thank you very much for doing that, Mark. And he says, would I please say, play something inspirational for all Ipswich Town supporters? And, well, I suppose every record in the programme is pretty darn inspirational, so they can consider the next one is for them. In fact, it's the best record ever made, which I play about once a year, something like that, and this seems to be time for the annual play of Teenage Kicks.
Is now heavy and is getting heavier and heavier.
Big ass on fire.
It's chewing at my heart. I wake upon the crack of dawn. My insides pulled apart. Call the Foreign Legion. It's perverting the region. Burning, ever burning, but it never is consumed. Vermilion burning, majesty, enough to make you cry. Gladly would I die for it. Gladly would I die. Big ass on fire. Big ass on fire. Big ass on fire. Big ass on fire.
Well, it is 11 minutes past 1 in the morning, so I suppose we can say ass, really, without inflaming you too much. That's from the LP Lucky by The Happy Family, and Big Ass on Fire was the title of it. Before that, of course, The Undertones and Teenage Kicks. Still probably the best record ever made. Rhythm Doctor.
Now this happens to be a murderer style. Go there, 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 go there. Rhythm section, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gotta play it twice.
Curious thing that I played the original of that, Gregory Isaacs, of course, just a few months ago on 1FM. Rhythm Doctor, and that's Mr. And anything else I can tell you about it? Not a great deal, actually, because there's no other information on it. And one of the many other things that came my way during the week was a list from the Rockpool organisation in New York of the 1990 Top 100 College Radio chart, made up from those records which were played most, I think, on college radio in the United States of America. And it is marginally interesting, so I'll read you bits of it. I'll give you the top 20, in fact, is what I'll do. At 20, The Cramps, Stay Sick. At 19, Midnight Oil, Blue Sky Mining. Bearing in mind, of course, that college radio is supposed to be deadly hip. At 18, it's Soup Dragons, Love God. 19, Iggy Pop, Brick by Brick. 16, Bob Mould. Did I say? Yeah, I think I left one out. Anyway, Bob Mould, Black Sheets of Rain. 15, Soul Asylum and The Horse They Rode In On. The Wedding Present at 14 with Bizarro. Breeders at 13. House of Love at 12. The Fall Extricate at 11. Chills, Submarine Bells at 10. Peter Murphy, rather surprisingly, at number 9. Jane's Addiction at 8. Pixies, Bossa Nova at 7. Sundays at 6. Sonic Youth, Goo at 5. There Might Be Giants, Flood at 4. Sinead O'Connor at 3. Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet at number 2. And Ultra Vivid Scene, Joy, 1967 to 1990, is at number 1. You have to look down to number 47 to discover my LP of 1990, Babes in Toyland's Spanking Machine. And where do we go from here? Oh, yes, Roy Milton and his Solid Senders.
One thing you ought to know, you ain't nowhere if you ain't got no dough. So keep a dollar in your pocket. Yes, keep a dollar in your pocket, 'cause you'll find in the end a dollar is your very best friend. Let them call you the stingiest man in town, but you'll have a dollar when the deal goes down. So keep a dollar in your pocket. Yes, keep a dollar in your pocket, 'cause you'll find in the end a dollar is your very best friend. Now when you ask someone to let you have a little dough, they'll say, well, I'm sorry, but that just means no. Keep a dollar in your pocket. Yes, keep a dollar in your pocket, 'cause you'll find in the end a dollar is your very best friend. What you want, and you can say what you choose, but if you don't want to sing those depression blues, keep a dollar in your pocket. Yes, keep a dollar in your pocket, and you will find in the end that a dollar is your very best friend.
It's all killer, no filler on the John Peel Wingding. Roy Milton and his Solid Senders from an Ace compact disc called called Roy Milton and his Solid Senders, and that was Keep a Dollar in Your Pocket. I have in the past, and when possible, played you tracks from what used to be, well, I suppose still is, actually, I mean, geographically, east, if not politically, Eastern Europe. I suppose it is politically as well. Getting into trouble here. Anyway, I've got a couple of records from Leipzig, and one of them, I shall play you both of them. One of them is, says on the front, Double-Sided Horror, the art of the legendary Tisch Weissings, proudly present Trief, and quite good, quite amusing artwork and so forth, and obviously, musically at least, things are on the up if they're not in any other area of activity. So from the Tisch Weissings, this is Headless.
Flags are burning, that's what I am.
You didn't help me. You're nothing but a brawler.
All right. I hit him because he walked by and said something. That doesn't mean we can't be friends.
My mistake, mister. Just go and forget it.
Okay.
Came in through the door, your shining star. You smelled like roses and it burns like war. Came in through the door, your shining star. You smelled like roses and it burns like war. Love you. I love you. It was a lucky moment in my life. I saw you and you sting me like a knife. It was a lucky moment in my life. I saw you and you sting me like a knife. I love you. I love you. Oh, Marianne, you came in through the door and you smelled like roses. Marianne, I saw you and I never let you go. Marianne, you came in through the door and sting me like a knife. Marianne, I love you, I love you, I love you so. Just the sky like rockets in the night. Nothing really stopped our flight. They trust the sky like rockets in the night. And nothing really stopped our flight. I love you. I love you. Oh, Marianne, you came in through the door and you smelled like roses. Marianne, I saw you and I never let you go. Marianne, you came in through the door and you sting me like a knife. Marianne, I love you, I love you, I love you so. Like roses, Marianne, I saw you and I never let you go. Marianne, you came in through the door and sting me like a knife. Marianne, I love you, I love you, I love you so.
Couple of records from Leipzig for you there. That's second of them, sounding rather wedding present-y at times. Die Art, and that's called I Love You, Marianne. And then before that, Tisch Weissings, and from an EP called Trief, Trief, T-R-I-E-F. The track was called Headless. Here's an ensemble that come from the part of the world where I spent the first 17 years of my life and grew to be the superb physical specimen that I am today, or tonight anyway. Systems exclusive from the Wirral, and this is from an EP called Contaminated, Contamination. Two Tribes, a voice came up from the engine room. That's a Systems exclusive. And if it's on any label at all, it's on Mechanical Man Records. And the EP is called Contaminated. And here's The Last Tonight from Robert Lloyd and the New Four Seasons. Is it The Last Tonight from Robert Lloyd and the New Four Seasons? Indeed it is.
jealous and hating. You bet your secrets. His mind's on the dirt. Foul smell. Well, look, kid, who's talking. You cannot live for asking to die. His hell, the street that he's walking, it's truly gruesome. His petty little mind, and his ears burn as he listens to shit stir. Mouth released, bits of sex in his teeth. His eyes aglow, his face ugly and twisted. There's no front, even underneath. Bring me the head of the stirrer. I know he's dead. He knows it as well. There's spunk, and this boy ain't got it. His disease is all he deserves, and I'll beat the crap. Take that crap right out from him. No heart. He's no nerd. And I lie in bed, and my love reads me poetry. Now that's what she's what I call an angel. And so are you sighs. You stay bitter and lonely, talking pathetic lies. Oh, just get to him. You do not know anything at all. Bring me the head of the stirrer. I know he's dead. He knows it as well. problem held dearly. Feeble little girl whose ignorance bright. Rivers of sick, they flow from her freely. She lives in a world of ignorant pride. And his ears burn as he listens to shit stir. Mouth ablaze, bits of sex in her teeth. His eyes aglow, his face appeared to stare. There's not a front, evenless underneath. 'Cause you don't know anything at all. Bring me the head of the stirrer. I know he's dead. He knows it as well. And if you say that, if you say that again, then I'll be around and I'll kick you in. And if you say that, if you say out again, then I'll be around and I'll kick you in. And if you say that, if you say that again, well, I'll be around and I'll kick you in.
Stretching Out with Robert Lloyd and the new Four Seasons. The last from them tonight in session, and that's called Slags and Angels. Flowergan.
All woman, when I take a lick from the man, big up the chest now, I'm playing a beating stick. All girls, hear this. Woman, sing no. Woman, you're not taking no lick. Boom. From no man, you want no beating stick. Sing no. Woman, you're not taking no lick. Boom. From no man, you want no beating stick. Man, you must be drinking some mad puss. You see a woman and you want beating. Where you a go with your pick and stick? Where you a go with your ice pick stick? No! Woman, you not take no lick. Boom! From no man, you want no beating stick. Say no! Woman, you not take no lick. Boom! From no man, you want no beating stick. No matter how a man appear down panic. No matter how a guy romantic. From a guy kick you down. A man a this. Woman, you be show him the exit. Jamaican girl, them not take no lick. English girl, them not take no lick. Canadian girl, them not take no lick. New York girl, them not take no lick. Because some man and a lover, them a just destroyer. Want to destroy the young daughter. Them want kick her in a gut and all over. Them boy they a must murder a woman. Say no, because you not take no lick. From no man you want no beating stick. Say no, woman you not take no lick. Woman, you wanna beating stick. Guy, where you get your version? You wanna brutalize the woman. Food that you cook, you want to find your woman. Clothes that you watch, you want to find the woman. One loving, you want to find the woman. Why? You brutalize the woman. Woman, and them I got this woman. If you're not a woman, then you a madman. Guy, stop brutalize the woman. Flower got by the microphone stand. All the girl when you get lit from man. Jump around car, you want to consent. No! Woman, you not take no lick bomb. From the man you wanna beat him sticks in. No! Woman, you not take no lick bomb. From the man you wanna beat him stick. Yes, some guy, them a no lover. Them a just murderer. Want brutalize the young daughter. Want to carry in a gut and all over. But the roots girl them from Jamaica. Nothing no lick from them lover. And the ragamuffin girl them in a Canada, America, and all over. Nah, take no lick from lover. Who flower gun is in the area, woman. No, you not take no lick from no man you wanna beat him stick. No, woman you not take no lick from no man you wanna beat him stick. And you must be drinking some hot puss. You see a woman and you want beat it. Where you a go with your big and stick. Where you a run go with your ice pick. Woman, me say the guy a this. No matter how the guy I play down on it. From a guy raising foot, bout him one kick. Lift up the man, bout him one lick. You see your eye, him one fit, black up it. Tell the guy, say him a this. Woman, show them on the exit saying no. Because you're not taking no lick. From no man you wanna beat him stink. Uptown gal them not take no lick. Park lane gal them not take no
Moto Love, here we go.
Actually, that's not the track I wanted to play. Nothing wrong with this one, but it's really not the one I intended to play. Such a good segue, too, but that's life, isn't it? Especially at 12 minutes to 2 in the morning. Come on, fellas. Masters of the obvious.
Goodbye, brainless wonder. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Goodbye!
Fuck
play the blues. Some of their music has been produced by Steve Albini, but not this. This is from an LP called This Corpse is a Warning on Resonance Records. Goodbye Brainless Wonder, and that was Masters of the Universe. Not Masters of the Universe, Masters of the Obvious. And then before that, Flanagan and Say No. And I just discovered a piece of paper with a lot of information about a tour with which LFO are involved, and don't actually have time to read it out now, so I shall read it out in tomorrow night's programme, along with the sessions from Mass and Stereo MCs, and a wealth, as always, of exhilarating records. But the last tonight from LFO, To the Limit. So it's supposed to go on for a second or so more. Tour details to be read out in a strong and manly voice in tomorrow night's programme. LFO in session, and that's called To the Limit. And the last record in tonight's programme, and this is for Slug at Aston University, along with many millions of other people, from The Fall.
Dispenser.
McGinty thought he could fool the fall with his imitation speeds, but he had not accounted for the psychic nose. He did not know there are no big shots on the rock, and even if there were, McGinty would not be among them. His head was full of icy a cloud sea of nothing. It's like the dispenser. It's past the truck 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 dispenser. The generic supermarket.
The Fall, of course, and Pat Trip Dispenser, and that comes from that B-Sides compilation double LP from Beggar's Banquet, 45, 84, 89 B-Sides, give it its full title. And tomorrow night sessions from Mass and Stereo MCs. Tonight it's been LFO and Robert Lloyd and the new Four Seasons. And that's about it, really. So thanks very much for listening, and I hope you'll join me at 11 o'clock tomorrow evening. Of course, you'll be listening to Andy Kershaw before that, I don't doubt, and Anne Nightingale before him, so you'll be primed and ready to go. Thanks for listening. Good night.